Hey guys, what is up? And I've been using LED strips behind my desk for almost a year now, and the reason I use them is because they hugely improve your desk setup in terms of how it looks simply by adding just a little bit of extra color behind your desk. Anyway, recently I came across some $18 RGB LED strips, and after setting them up, I was actually surprised by how well they work, so I wanted to share with you guys my unboxing, the setup, and why you may want to consider purchasing these LED strips. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. So jumping straight into it, these LED strips are 16 feet in length, so you guys should have enough to LED strip an entire desk or anything like that without having to worry about running out. They're also waterproof, which is very nice as well, and this kit comes with everything you're going to need to get up and running right away, so you don't have to worry about purchasing anything extra. It all comes in a single box. And before we continue on, I should note that if you're interested in purchasing these exact LED strips I have in this video, then check the link in the description down below, and I'll be sure to include a link to where you can buy these at their cheapest price. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump straight into the unboxing. First things first, we of course have our LED strips here. Underneath that, we also have a power cable as well as a power brick. Obviously, these are going to supply power to the LED strips, but you want to make sure when you're setting up the LED strips that you can find a spot behind your desk or out of the way so they're not super obvious when they're sitting there, because they are fairly large and obvious. Next to that, we also have this small white box, and this is going to contain a couple of things. First, it contains our controller, which is going to be used to control pretty much every single aspect of the LED strips. And one small nice touch is that you can actually control multiple LED strips using a single controller. Underneath that, we have the RGB control box, which is basically going to receive the signal from the controller, and it's going to tell the LED strip what color to change to, and that's pretty much everything you're going to need to set up your LED strips and get everything up and running. So before we go ahead and set everything up, I always like to make sure that everything works by testing everything out. So to do that, just set everything up like you see it here, and what you want to do is just start by connecting the 4-pin connector on the LED strips straight into the connector on the RGB control box. Once you do that, grab this little power cord from the power brick and go ahead and plug it straight into the control box. And once you've done that, last step is simply to plug in the power cable into the power brick, plug it into the wall, and if you did everything correctly, it should light up just like this. Last thing you want to do to make sure the controller works is go ahead, grab your controller, and if you look closely at the bottom, you should see a little plastic pull tab. If you go ahead and pull that, you should be able to control the LED strips right off the bat using the controller, and if everything works correctly, then you're safe to continue on with the setup. So setting these up is super simple. One thing I would like to note is that I am going to be setting these up on a desk, but you can pretty much attach them to any surface you want to, behind beds, behind TVs, monitors, computers, pretty much anything you name it, it'll work. Anyway, setting these up is very simple like I said before. What you want to do is basically figure out where you're going to be attaching your LED strips, and you want to make sure that where you're going to be attaching it, you can easily plug in your control box straight into the 4-pin connector on the LED strip. What I did here is I went ahead and put some 3M adhesive on my control box, and I adhered it to the bottom of my desk so that I can easily take the connector from the control box and plug my LED strip straight into it so I don't have to like stretch anything or try and reach anything. Once you've done that, you also want to make sure that you can easily reach an outlet, because you will need to plug your power connector into the control box and then plug that into the wall so you can actually power the LED strip. But once you've got that all sorted out, it's as simple as basically just peeling back the brown adhesive protection on the back and just start sticking it on the back of your desk, or like I said, whatever it is you're attaching it to. Once you've done that, and once you've covered the entire back of your desk, if you look closely at the very end, as you can see, this is basically where I want to cut the LED strip. So what you want to do, grab a pair of scissors, and if you look closely, you should see these little copper cut points. If you go ahead and cut that, the LED strip will continue to work all the way up to that point, and everything should work perfectly fine. Next step is basically just plugging everything in. Grab the 4-pin connector on your LED strip, plug it into the connector on the RGB control box. Like we did when we were testing the LED strip, grab the connector from the power brick, plug that into the control box, and then plug that into the wall. And once you've done that, you should be able to control everything with your remote control. So that's pretty much the entire setup. So after I finished the setup, I went ahead and set up my desk. So I set up my monitor, my computer, and I did some cable management just to clean up the cables a bit. And as you guys can see, the final product looks absolutely amazing, and that's all thanks to that LED strip. And just by adding that little bit of extra color in the back, you can see it really makes the entire setup pop and really adds a whole new dimension to the setup. Overall, I think for $18, this is one of the first and cheapest upgrades you should do to a desk just to make it look incredible, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Also, if you guys have any questions about the LED strip, be sure to leave them in the comments section down below. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.